The Deer and the Snail's Race, made by Nabilah. Once upon a time, in a big green forest, there lived a fast deer. The deer loved to tell everyone how fast he could run. And one day, a small snail heard the deer bragging.
"Why do you brag about your speed, dear?"
asked the snail.
"Speed isn't everything."
The deer laughed. "Oh, snail, you are so slow. You could never beat me in a race. Let's have a race tomorrow then." The snail thought for a moment and said,
"Okay, dear. Let's race from this big tree to the river."
The deer was sure he would win. "This will be easy," he thought. The snail thought for a moment and gathered his courage and said,
"I can do it."
After that, the snail went home. The next morning, all the animals came to watch the race. The deer and the snail stood at the starting line, and the owl shouted, "Ready, set, and go!" The deer ran very fast, leaving the snail far behind. But the snail had a plan. He already asked his snail friends to help, and they hid along the path to the river. The deer was very confused because every time the deer looked back, a snail would pop out and say,
"Here I am, dear."
The deer thought the snail was ahead and ran faster and faster. But no matter how fast he ran, a snail was always in front. Finally, the tired and confused deer reached the river. There was the snail waiting calmly. "How did you do it, snail?" asked the deer, breathing hard. The snail smiled and replied,
"Sometimes, dear, it's not about being the fastest. It's about being clever and working together."
All the animals cheered for the snail and learned an important lesson that day. It's not always the fastest or the strongest who wins, but those who are clever and work together.